¿Qué olong tiburón?
From Cafeteria Films in Miami, Florida, Fresh presents Que Bola. I'm your host, Darwin Figueroa, and I hope you enjoy this. Let's get into it. Episode 1, Robin Lam. So our first interviewee is Robin Lam. Robin Lam is the co-founder of Miami Blockchain Society and also Miami Bloktalks. Miami Bloktalks is a community where various people from South Florida come together and speak about blockchain and cryptocurrencies. He's also the co-founder of CoinHub, which is an ATM for cryptocurrencies that's located here in the state of Florida. He's also an advisor on Biquity, which is an exchange that allows people to get educated on how blockchain and cryptocurrencies work. This podcast was very, very interesting. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's start off, simple question. First question. What's your name?
My name is Robin Lam.
Okay, Robin Lam. And who are you representing? How are you connected to Miami?
So,
who are you representing and how are you connected to Miami? How's it?
I guess I'm representing Miami Blockchain Society and Bloktalks. How am I connected to Miami? I go to medical school at FIU Medical School. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And are you originally from Miami? I had a question. Like, I always wondered if you were originally from Miami, because I was reading on your bio and it said that you went to UF, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so like it didn't say anything prior to UF. It didn't say your high school or anything like that. So like, what'd you do prior to that? Did you just magically appear in Gainesville, or like what's up?
Yeah, so I grew up most of my life in Tampa, more like rural Tampa, like Land O' Lakes, where the butter is from.
Oh, okay, I know where that's at.
Yeah. And then Zephyr Hills, where the water bottle is from.
Okay, I also know where that's at.
Yeah, but mostly in Tampa. And then I got into University of Florida, where I stayed there for 4 years. And then I got accepted to a medical school in Miami. So that's where I am now.
Okay, all right. So that's how you ended up in Miami. You never thought that you were gonna be in Miami?
No, I thought I was going to be in Gainesville for the rest of my medical career, to be honest.
Okay, and I also saw on your information on LinkedIn that you had done some internships at Facebook. You lived out in San Francisco for a while. What was that like?
So yeah, in undergraduate, I did 2 majors for computer engineering, a bachelor's, and a bachelor's in biochemistry, which is also pre-med track. I got the internships in Google. It was like I think it was either my sophomore. Yeah, it was a sophomore summer year. I got an internship working there, and then the following year I got an internship at Facebook the following summer, and then I got a full-time job at Facebook during one of the summers between my medical years. So.
And what is it that made you leave Facebook? Everybody wants to be at Facebook right now. What made you want to walk away at because you're like starting your career. So like, what is it that made you say, I don't want to really mess around with Facebook?
I guess for me, not to say anything bad, just like, I guess I didn't feel it that much anymore. I was more excited about the medical field, and I got accepted. I got a full ride, and I was just interested about it. So, I mean, at heart, I'm always an engineer, but I love learning. So if you get a free, full ride education, I don't want to give it up, you know?
That makes sense. That makes sense to me. So how'd you stumble on blockchain?
Well, on blockchain or cryptocurrency, two different stories.
How'd you stumble on the space? Because I mean, you went from medical to blockchain to cryptocurrency. That's like a big transition, you know. Like, and from my perspective, I'm coming from insurance, so I was doing it because I was like, I need to find something that's gonna not replace me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was reading that insurance might be replaced by like these blockchains and things along that nature.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I need to like switch it up. But like medicine is not something that I see is gonna like in the foreseeable future go down. People are always gonna need doctors and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like, what made you wanna like go into that space, or what even introduced you to that space?
Well, I actually got introduced into Bitcoin in 2012, 2013. It was like I was still an undergraduate, so I was like poor undergraduate student, and my friend told me about this thing called Bitcoin, and I was like, what is that, digital internet money or something shit like that? It's like a scam or something. And he's like, no, it's pretty cool actually. It's like a way to like transfer money really quickly, and then like you can transfer them across the world in like a couple of minutes. Back then, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, and he told me about this Russian website, and it's like you send $50 to them, and then they.
That's how you got you. So you were like, you thought it was gonna be a scam at first, or like what made you say fuck it, I'm gonna jump into the deep edge and like do this?
I guess for me, I was young, dumb, and naive, and I was like, I had $50 to spare, so I was like, I just dump it in there, and say, well, worst comes to worst, some Russian scammer stole my $50, you know?
All right, okay.
I won't eat for like a couple of days, but it's whatever.
All right, so that was the beginnings of it. So what made you like stay in it? What was it that actually made you say, all right, this is something that I could really see my future being in this particular space?
I guess for me, I totally forgot about everything about Bitcoin, all the Bitcoins I had. I just fast forward in 2017, it was around February, where I met one of my classmates, Dax. You probably met him a couple times.
I know
We're
Dax.
both in the same medical school, same class.
He's also your co-founder, right?
Yeah, co-founder for Bloktalks, and now we're all busy with other stuff too. But yeah, definitely for Bloktalks. I'm not trying to shield that much about it, but
yeah.
But I met him, and he was talking about this thing called Ethereum. And before, I was just a Bitcoin maximist. So like Bitcoin is the true coin, everything else is a fake coin, you know?
Okay.
It's like, what's smart contracts? What the fuck does it mean? Like, just making up words right now.
Kind of like a lot of people feel in crypto space right now, honestly. But continue.
So he told me about this, and I read the Ethereum white paper, and then I started researching it, and I was like, wow, this is insane. I'm surprised, like, it's only worth $20.
Okay.
Yeah, you remember? I don't know if you remember back then.
Yeah.
Literally a year ago, it's only $20, and I was like, "This is crazy. I have to get into this right now." I started reading about it. I started like learning about Solidity, which is the programming language, and I started teaching myself the programming language. Like I knew programming before, but I didn't know how to program in blockchain. So I taught myself all that within a span of a month.
Wow.
Yeah, and I started buying Ethereum. Like every time I would get like money from like other jobs and stuff like that, I would just pour it into like Coinbase and just buy all the Ethereum I can. And then fast forward in that, that's basically how I got really involved. That's like the beginnings. It was literally just last year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot has happened in a year in crypto space.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
10 years.
like it's like 10 years. Yeah, Charles says it's about 10 years. And that's the truth. Like, I think that about like 6 months in crypto is about 6 years in any other particular like industry or any particular space, because right now we're through that roller coaster initiating phase where like it's like everything is just flourishing. It's like, I remember when like, you ever seen like those movies where it's time lapse and everything grows really super fast? That's what's happening right now in blockchain. You know, at some point it's gonna level off and it's gonna start growing at a certain pace. But right now it's just like boom, like super booming. You know?
Yeah.
So like, let's go back to the beginning. So now that you got into the blockchain space, are you still pursuing medical career?
Yeah, I'm still taking classes. Well, I'm actually on spring break right now.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm finishing up in 2 years to get my MD, and then I'm going to go to residency and finish up like my career. But definitely, I want to get involved this year, and I started last year because nowhere in my lifetime that I'll get another opportunity. I missed the internet age, and I'm not going to miss this chance. So.
Okay, I feel you. I completely feel you, man. I completely agree with you. It's something that it's happened to me the same way. I'm similarly like just seeing all this particular things happening so fast, and I was like, whether I understand it or not, I want to jump on this boat. You know, It's something that makes me happy to see that you founded this particular thing, Bloktalks. So let's talk a little bit about Bloktalks, all right? I know you don't want to shill it a lot, but I mean, I'm going to shill it for you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm very enthused about it. It's something that really has opened me particularly up to a lot of the community here in South Florida with crypto and Bloktalks and blockchain, excuse me. How'd you start it? Who'd you start it with? And what was the story behind that?
The story is actually pretty funny. It was like we started the Facebook page for Miami Blockchain Society back in August 2017, and then it was only like maybe 15 likes or something like that. And then some guy messaged us, "Hey, we should all meet up, all 15 of us, and talk about crypto or blockchain." And I was like, "Sure, where?" He's like, "Blue Martini in Brickell."
Okay.
And then I sent a message to everyone, all 15 of us. It's like, "Let's meet up here." Only 5 people showed up.
Okay. Well, that's not bad. You know what I'm saying? 5 out of 15. Hey.
That's a good number.
It was me, Dax, Dax's girlfriend.
Okay.
And then
So she was there by default.
Dax's close friend, and then the guy who messaged us, and myself. So
Okay,
there's
well,
5 of us.
All right, so you guys started off at Blue Martini Brickle. I'm sure a lot of if you're listening and you don't know where Blue Martini Brickle is, it's a very popular spot in South Florida. A lot of movers and shakers go through there, and it's a lot of fun when you go through there. So, what made you guys want to show up at Blue Martini Brickle to talk about blockchain?
It was just a random place that we thought it was good or anything. Like just a random guy, all people just meeting up and just talking about it. It was great. It lasted for like 2-3 hours just talking about crypto. Back then, even though it sounds like only 7 months ago, it felt like everything was so new and up and coming. Neo was only like $6.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everything was still undervalued.
Yeah.
I think
They're still called ant shares back then.
I mean, I think there's still a lot of these particular currencies or blockchains or tokens are undervalued, but even to this day. But even back then, it was that new, like, oh my God, something very good is gonna happen here, right?
I like how we say back then, but it's literally 7 months ago.
Yeah, that's true. Once again, that time frame is huge in crypto. So you guys started it with the 5 people. What made you say, okay, let's do this again?
We thought it was cool. Like everyone had a great time. We just nowhere else in Miami that people just met up just to talk about crypto. And we felt like it was just strangers just meeting up for the first time. So we said, hey, let's do it again. We tried next time, Doral. We got 6 people.
Okay, well, that was an improvement, though.
Yeah, you have to realize, like, my goal was to get one more person for each event. Just one more, right?
Okay.
So...
Yeah, 20% increase with one person. That's good.
Yeah. And then for the next event, we hosted Area 51.
Okay, so your second event was hosted where? In Doral?
Or somewhere, some bar, something like that.
Okay, some random bar in Doral.
Yeah.
Okay, there's not that many bars in Doral, so it's probably like one of the 3 that's out there. And then your third event, you went to Area 51 across from the airport?
Area 51, Area 30.
That's Squadron.
It was
Squadron.
the Epic Hotel. It was in
okay.
Yeah.
I know where that's at.
So, like, we didn't book the venue or anything. We just like, hey, let's just meet up here. And then 40 people showed up.
Oh,
and we had no signs or anything. It's just, hey, we didn't tell them which floor either. And it was like...
Okay, so from the time that you did the first one to the time that you did, the third one?
Yeah.
All right, how much actual time had spanned in that?
A month. 1
month. So you went from 5 to 40 in 1 month?
Yeah.
Damn, that's a fucking big increase. Wow. Man, that means that a lot of people are really, really interested in this particular space.
Yeah.
All right. So then you saw that it was booming.
Yeah.
So then you kept doing it.
We did it again at the area in Epic Hotel. We got 75 the next one, our 4th one. And then we realized, like, maybe we should actually organize this, instead of just meeting up. So then we did one in December, winter edition. We hosted employees only in Miami Beach, and we got a nice venue. We didn't do any advertising. We just made an Instagram. Well, not really Instagram. We made a meetup.com website, an Eventbrite and stuff like that. And all of a sudden we had 125 people show up.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was crazy too, because it wasn't just like regular crypto traders and like people in the blockchain. It was like everyone that you did not imagine that could be there.
Bunch of randos.
Yeah. There was people from like Fort Lauderdale that came. And there was like even people from West Palm Beach or Boca.
Yeah.
There was like traditional investors, like people from Goldman Sachs and stuff like that.
That were showing up to the
we had bartenders, medical doctors, and like engineers and lawyers and all this stuff. It was amazing. And that's how we knew that there was something big that we need to do in Miami. And that's where we turned Bloktalks from just a social meetup into something that's more educational focused. Yeah.
I mean, so after that, I'm assuming that your next one, that's when I met. When I came into contact with Bloktalks, it was actually through Meetup. So, I mean, when you guys decided to start promoting it, it really expanded to a lot more other people.
Yeah.
And that's how I came into contact with you guys. I went to Bloktalks, I think it was in January.
Yeah, it's Iron Hack, right?
Yeah, the Iron Hack Bloktalks. So I showed up to the Iron Hack Bloktalks not knowing exactly what to expect. And it was like $5 or $10 or something like that. So I was like, yeah, sure, bro. I'll show up and I'll see what you guys have to say, And when you guys put on the panel, it was it was very interesting to hear everything that everybody was saying. So it was like, okay, these people aren't like full of shit. You know, these people are really know what they're talking about, or like they're really working in the space. You know, how do you go about picking panelists? What do you think about when you're gonna go pick a panelist?
So after the winter Bloktalks, we had a lot of people confused because we had no schedule. We're like, where's the schedule?
Okay.
Who's speaking? And during the winter one, we just had a microphone, and it was in front of like it's like, I don't know if you've been to employees only, but we stood on this little step thingy.
Okay.
And it was in front of a pool, and then we just talked in it. And there's no organization. But for this one, we made sure we had an organization. It's like we started deciding the panelists and stuff like that. But it's more like whoever was willing to contribute their time.
Mm-hmm.
So surprisingly, we had a good panelist and a surprise panelist, Mo Levin, from the North American Bitcoin Conference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he's a CEO of Keynote. It was amazing. Like, I didn't expect him to come as a surprise panelist.
Yeah.
But he came, and I think it was amazing the great turnout we had. I think 290 people for the Iron Hack one.
Damn. Yeah, I was there. That place was packed.
That was packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were standing.
200, 290?
Yeah. So, yeah. The tickets, at the doors, we didn't count at the doors until afterwards. Mm-hmm. So when we made the post, we only said like 200 something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, man, that Iron Hack really opened my eyes to the various possibilities that crypto really has. I met so many different people there, and I met so many people from so many different walks of life that I really fundamentally understood that it was going to be something that is going to really change the dynamic of South Florida. You know, you tell me what you think, where the space is going. What do you think it's like? Do you think that this is something that is gonna pop in South Florida? From my perspective, I hope that South Florida becomes kind of like an epicenter of Bitcoin, or not necessarily Bitcoin. I mean like crypto or blockchain. But up until right now, I see a lot of investors are wanting to jump in. I know Miami's full of investors. A lot of cash is flowing around. What do you see the future of crypto and blockchain being here in South Florida?
I think South Florida and Miami, it's underdeveloped in the blockchain and crypto space. I traveled to San Francisco, Geneva, New York, even in Germany. It's like the vibe is like everyone's popping. They have everything is like more developed and more advanced. Mm-hmm. In South Florida, like we're just up and coming. That's why Bloktalks is literally the largest like crypto community there, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
because Bitcoin's been around since 2009.
Exactly, and it just popped around like a year ago.
Yeah, but I think Miami needs more innovation. It needs more people who are willing to take risks in the blockchain space. And that's what we're trying to do with Bloktalks and CoinHub. And with all the entrepreneurs that we met along the way, we want to improve Miami. That's why we're trying to build this crypto community in Miami, right? And we get a lot of hate from the older players and stuff like that, but it's whatever. At the end of the day, we're trying to unite all the small little niche groups and stuff into a united South Florida.
Yeah.
So that way we can be, hey, we're strong enough like San Fran, and we're strong enough like New York that we can host our own big conference. But like, I'm tired of like all these big boys come here and like host a conference and they leave. They never contribute anything to the South Florida area. But if we can do our own thing by Miami, for Miami, that's great.
No, I completely agree with you, man. I am 100%. Anything that helps better or shape a better future here in South Florida, I'm for 100%. So you said that some people were throwing hate at you. What was that all about?
A little bit shade. I'm not naming names. Bitch, stop. But I think it's just like you have people who've been in power, like who has influence in the crypto community in South Florida. They see these up and coming people and they don't want to let go. You know, it's too centralized in South Florida for the crypto community. So what we're trying to do is decentralize it, and we connect the communities in general. But some people are resistant to change. But at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're spreading love, and we're connecting people to each other. Just recently, I was there at Brickell City Center, and this Evan, and he like, hey, I want to help you guys find a venue. And I know this great place in WeWork that can hold 300 people. And I said, oh, is there anything? And he's like, is there anything you want in return? He's like, no, I just want to help grow this community. And I was flabbergasted. It's like, this is amazing. You know, how just like someone from this random group and just wanted to help out for nothing. So he told me about his like, he wants to help children manage their finances, like high school students and stuff, because you never taught about it.
Yeah.
So I connect to him with a developer for that, and then all of a sudden, like, that's out. It literally just happened this afternoon.
Yeah.
So-
Like those things tend to I was born and raised in South Florida, and growing up here, those things never used to happen. Like things popping off that quick and a scene popping off that quick. It never used to happen. The art scene took forever to blow up in South Florida. People think that like you showed up, like Art Basel showed up and that's it. Like things showed up and it popped off. It wasn't like that. Prior to Art Basel, it took a lot of people a lot of time to put spotlight on South Florida, and then Art Basel showed up and said this is gonna be good for art. So I feel like you're kind of doing the same thing with crypto and with Bitcoin. In that particular space here in South Florida. You mentioned that you are also working in other projects. What other projects are you working with right now?
I'm currently working for, I own this other company called CoinUp. So basically we have crypto ATMs, mostly based in Tampa. We're expanding to Texas, actually. We just met with investors today. But mostly, yeah, just Bitcoin ATMs, where you put cash in, you get Bitcoin. Obviously, you can get more than Bitcoin. We offer up to 500 different currencies, and it's a two-way function. You get cash in, cash out. So, yeah. Other projects I'm working on, I'm a strategic advisor for a new upcoming exchange focused on education. So basically, they call it the Biquity exchange, and what they do is that they want to offer workshops to people to educate them and to train them on using exchanges. Yeah. So and I'm working on like a lot of other projects right now, but I don't want too much time.
Yeah, you don't want to divulge the gems right now.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit.
They're on the low right now. So that particular, I see a lot of the things that you're talking about is like education focused. So you're really trying to educate the people in South Florida or worldwide actually on the possibility of crypto, blockchain, and how it could spread, and how it could actually influence their life and hopefully better their life. Yep. I see that's what you're trying to do. So where do you think the future of Bitcoin is? I mean, sometimes I love Bitcoin. That's full disclosure. I want everybody to know I love crypto. I love blockchain. But at the same time, when I look at it, I see it kind of like something that it could be like a Trojan horse for humanity, because
Trojan horse.
I mean, yeah, everything that blockchain is what Big Brother or like a government entity would want, because everything is on a particular source where it could never be erased. So like every movement you ever make will be somewhere where somebody could access it. I mean, right now there's that anonymous factor, or like you don't know who it is, but you don't know if that's gonna be like that forever. I mean, it could definitely change. But that's just me being a cynic, So that goes down that path sometimes. But where is it that you think the space is moving to? Where do you think that this is gonna end up? I know that 2018 is gonna be a big year for crypto and for blockchain. Where do you think it's gonna be? Let's just say at the end of at the end of this year, what do you think it'll be? Like, what do you think is gonna be headed?
I think I talked to a lot of crypto experts and the people in the community. It's like one Bitcoin is probably gonna be about $50,000 by the end of this year, conservatively. Like last year, I thought one Bitcoin would be $7,000 at the end of the year, and I was conservative and I underestimated. But I think beyond the prices and stuff, I think it's the blockchain movement that's going to change the world. People want transparency, people want accountability, and people want like to understand what's going on between all these deals and stuff. And that's, you think that's what Big Brother want. In reality, like if you ever went to a government agency, it's like not that transparent. And like people, it's very slow.
Yeah.
And you never get straight answers all the time. At least when I worked with a lot of government agencies, it's just that people just want to know, like, if you knew where every single dollar and every single money went to every single project, and it's all public to everyone, you'd be shocked. Everyone would be shocked. There would be probably a revolution the next day.
So you think that they're actually not trying to embrace it? They're trying to avoid this particular technology.
I mean, definitely. You can see how the way the media portrays Bitcoin, it's a scam. You're going to lose all your money and stuff like that. And you see how the government's trying to tighten the regulations, right?
All right.
So if they really want it, why would they tighten regulations when they want to hand out?
Yeah, like hand out something so it could be easily accepted and adopted. Yeah. I get it. So right now in the space of crypto, There's a lot of various things that are happening with like particular blocks and things like that. I don't want to get too much into like into technical aspects.
Yeah.
But if you could just let's start off with your explanation of what you think blockchain is.
What I think blockchain is.
Yeah, like if you were gonna explain blockchain to my grandma, how would you explain it to her?
Okay. Well, actually,
Mi abuela.
I was messing around with Alexa last night. It was like the Amazon AI system.
Okay.
And they explain it really well. But to explain it to someone who doesn't know anything about blockchain, I try to keep it very simple. It's a public ledger.
Okay.
So basically, it's a record keeper, right?
Okay.
You can see all the transactions back and forth, and it's transparent how much is going back and forth. But you don't know who it is unless you have the identification method, which is like knowing their private keys and stuff, and you attach their name to it. But other than that, it's just a way for people to have increased transparencies between transactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So going a little deeper now into particular into the space. There's various types of blockchains. People aren't aware of this. There's not just one blockchain. A lot of people think there's just one particular blockchain. Mm-hmm. How do these blockchains differ? And what do you think, where do you think is going to be the king of them? Because like any other particular technology, there can be like 500 Googles. You know, there's one Google. Mm-hmm. You know, there's Google and Bing, but who the fuck uses Bing? You know what I'm saying? Like, being honest, you know? So like, what blockchain you think is going to be king? And like, what differentiates that from the other particular ones that are in the market right now?
I think what you're asking is that, like, what different types of blockchains are? Obviously, there's centralized blockchains and decentralized blockchains. Centralized blockchains is like people who own control over them, like such as Ripple, for example. Decentralized exchange is Bitcoin. Is one of the obvious answers. No one really controls it exactly. Everything's open source and everything. But there's different ways you want to examine certain blockchains, and I guess it really depends. The blockchain itself is more like a method of storing transactions. For example, Ethereum, you can build like applications type of. Okay. So with smart contracts or decentralized applications and stuff like that. CryptoKitties, I'm just throwing some words so people will understand what I'm saying. But in general, it really depends how people favor things in the future. Like, are we going toward a more simplistic blockchain where people just want to store their information, or are we moving toward a way where everyone wants an application built on top of the blockchains, right? And I think the realistic answer is that it's more of the latter, where we're seeing all these applications built on top of another blockchain, which is like Ethereum or Neo, for example. So that way, once the blockchain is just the simple layer, right? On top of that is where you put the applications. And the application is what it's going to change the world, right? Imagine you're in the 1980s when the internet just came out, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, like, it starts developing, right? That's like me telling you in the 1990s, 1995, what the internet will be in 2018, right? If I told you some guy who's going to invent a website where you connect your friends and he'll be worth $20 billion, you're like, you're fucking insane.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but that's my opinion. I think we're going toward a way where it's more application-based. And that way people can build something. Once you build something, you can build upon that and upon that. So that's where I think we're heading toward.
All right. That's a pretty fair answer. Yeah, that's more or less what I was trying to get at. Like, how do you differentiate which one is going to be at the top of the mountain heap? Because there's a lot of them. You know, there's not just one. There's a lot of them out there. So a lot of people are always asking me, like, well, which one do you think I should focus more on? And I always tell me I read the white papers, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. But like, since you're in the game, you more or less understand how it's going to work. I wanted to pick your brain on that particular question. So last question is a silly question, but is one that I always like asking people.
Okay.
What the fuck you think is going to happen with Trump and crypto?
I mean, I haven't really caught up with politics that much for Trump, but I think, I don't know. I feel like... I really don't know. Like, what's his opinion on cryptocurrency? I don't even know.
Like, his opinion is basically going through the SEC, right? Mm-hmm. Like, right now, it seems like they're being okay with it, but it could drastically change at any minute. And being that he's at the head of the mountaintop and he's the one pulling the strings, I is like always thinking like, what is he actually thinking about this particular space? Because if I'm Goldman Sachs, I'm JP Morgan Chase.
Yeah.
I don't want this. You know what I'm saying? And I have lobbying power and I have money to be like, I don't want this. And I want to try to either suppress it as long as possible or completely do away with it. They're not going to completely do away with it, but they want to suppress it as long as possible. How do you think that Trump and this is going to play out? Because Trump and anything is always a toss-up. So, like, from your perspective, I just want to know from your head, what do you think? Like, I know you're not too political, but, like, what do you think it'll play out in the government sphere?
I think regulations is coming. Do I support regulations? Obviously not. That goes against everything about cryptocurrency and blockchain, right? Mm-hmm. It's anti-banking, anti-government, and it's more about increasing transparency, giving power to people, right? Mm-hmm. And how can you give power to people if there's one entity that controls it, right? Mm-hmm. But that's just my opinion. I think as for Trump is a pro-business person, right? Mm-hmm. So if he sees like big companies like Goldman Sachs and stuff investing in cryptocurrencies, then he will support it. But if he doesn't see that, then he'll be against it, obviously, right? And that's my opinion. But I think I want to leave it off on this note. Literally, I think it was like 4 or 5 days ago, Goldman Sachs backed a subsidiary called Circle, just bought Poloniex for $500 million, a crypto exchange.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So it's obviously they're not against it, but the big boys are coming, and
they're starting to armor up in this particular space.
Yeah. So I think, will it be regulations? Of course. But will they be against it? Probably not.
Okay. Fair answer, man. Well, thank you so much, Robin, for being part of Bola and sharing your time with us. I really appreciate it. When is the next Block Talk?
Hopefully March, but we're planning a super conference in like May or June, whenever the poll survey comes out. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much once again. I appreciate it. Do you have any questions for me?
No, not really.
All right. Sounds good, man. I'm signing off. This is Doran Figueroa. Everybody have a wonderful day. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to the first episode of Bola presented by Fresher Fresh. If you would like to get in contact with Robin, his Telegram account is at Dr. DOCTOR_Robin ROBIN. Or if you would like to know a little bit more about Block Talk, you could find their information on IG at Bloktalks. That's BLOK Talks TALKS. If you like what you heard, please subscribe and follow us. Fresh or Fresh. That's FRESH or OR Fresh PHRESH.com, or on IG, it's the same thing, Fresh or Fresh. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And yeah, peace out.